Barack Obama, Eleanor Showa, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Charles E. Drew, Mary Anderson, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Albert Einstein, Princess Diana, Crystal Metheny, Jesus Christ. What if their voices were silenced? Good evening. I am Sheridan Draper, and I came to talk to you all about abortion, the silent voices of the unborn. I have 3 questions that I'd like to ask you all, something to make you think. When does life begin? Is the right to life guaranteed? And what is murder? Life begins when living things are highly organized, and all living things have an ability to acquire materials and energy. All living things have an ability to respond to their environment. All living things have an ability to reproduce, and all living things have an ability to adapt. The fertilization process begins when a tiny sperm encounters the ovum, and the sperm then burrows itself inside the wall of an egg. The sperm's head disconnects from the flagellum, which is the tail, and the ovum wall then seals itself, so no other sperm can enter. The fused ovum and sperm then travel down the fallopian tube and successfully implants itself into the uterine wall. At 8 weeks, the baby is well proportioned and all of the organs are present. At 4 months, the baby can feel pain and can suck its thumb for comfort. At 7 months, the baby's eyelids begin to reopen to see what the world has to offer. At 9 months, the baby has outgrown the womb and is ready to exit and experience life and liberty. From the time of conception, life has begun inside the womb. Is the right to life guaranteed? The Declaration of Independence states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." I ask you all, are we really upholding the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? As of now, it's the mother's choice to whether or not to keep her unborn. But as we learn, life has begun inside the womb. When the fertilization process begins, we have life. It may not be in the form of what we look like, but it has begun. So even though the mother has the right to choose her life, her liberty, which is her freedom, why not have the same rights for the unborn, the silent voices? What is murder? Murder is the unlawful killing of one human by another, especially with premeditated malice, to put an end, to destroy, to kill brutally or inhumanly. I want to share a story with you. When I was about 16 years old, my cousin, who was 16, found herself in a situation where she became pregnant. And she was in sort of a denial that she was actually pregnant. But once she decided what she wanted to do, which was have an abortion, she came to me and as I think about this and what I know now today, I probably would have talked to her differently about her options and her choices. She was about 24 weeks, which equates to about 6 months. She went to have an abortion. It was a 2-day procedure, which you'll later learn on the different methods that they use. Till this day, my cousin actually has to deal with that. I talked to her this week to get her advice, her opinion on this topic. And it was one that she really didn't want to discuss because this is something that she had to deal with for the rest of her life. She stated though, if she had to do it all over again, it would definitely been different. Her unborn would have been with her here today. Some of the abortion methods, procedures that they do, in the first trimester, they use the suction aspiration procedure, which they actually suck the embryo or fetus, well, the embryo, out of the uterus with a vacuum. And to make sure everything is intact, they make sure they look at each part of the body to make sure they have everything there, along with the placenta. Dilation and evacuation is done in the second trimester, anywhere from 13 weeks to approximately 24 weeks, where the abortionists use forceps to grab the body parts of the unborn by tearing away at the body. And they pull them out by piece. But unfortunately, well, at this point in time though, the unborn at this age, their head is actually hardened, so they can't actually pull the entire body out. The head is actually left last. They then take scissors and they jab it in the back of the skull to release all the brain and tissue inside, so the head will then collapse, so they can remove the unborn. Another method is salt poisoning, which is also done in the second and or third trimester, where they inject salt solution inside of the womb so that the salt mixes with the amniotic fluid and then is ingested by the baby. As the baby ingests this salt solution, they are burned inside as well as outside. Now, I came here to give you facts and tell you what abortion is. You have to ask yourself, does this constitute murder? Another way, like I stated, with my cousin, the 2-day procedure, she actually had to deliver the baby, but the baby was dead because of the laminate sticks that they inserted in her. The abortion statistics. There are about 18% of teenagers that actually have abortions.
Yeah, 45 more seconds. 45 more seconds.
Okay, women in their 20s account for more than half of all of the abortions. And 30% of the abortions occur in non-Hispanic Black women, 36% non-Hispanic white women, and 25% of Hispanic women, and 9% in all other races. If we would have missed these people if their voices were silenced. Barack Obama, our first African-American president, Ellen Ochoa, the first Hispanic female astronaut. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader and activist. Dr. Charles E. Drew, the surgeon and who also created the blood bank. Mary Anderson, she invented the windshield wipers. Harriet Beecher Stowe, she exposed slavery in the South in her book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Albert Einstein, he was a great mathematician. Princess Diana, she was a philanthropist. Crystal Metheny, she's a fellow classmate who opened her doors to us. Jesus Christ, a teacher and a prophet, and my Savior. We would have missed these people if their voices were silenced. Everyone has a right to live. Stop abortion and save a life.